I'd been working for several years, and I'd worked for several different book publishers and book packagers, and each time either they'd provided their contract, or if they hadn't offered a contract, I would send my contract, which was based on one that the Association of Illustrators provide with terms and conditions, and you adjust it to suit each project. What happened was I'd been working for a publisher on a couple of occasions before, and I think I'd used my contract and they'd accepted that and the work had been fine. And then they asked me to illustrate a book, and I'd asked for a contract and they kept saying it was coming. And in the meantime, I was working on the project because it was just a few months to get it done. When I'd worked for them previously, we'd agreed a license which gave them the right to use my artwork for the specific project that it was commissioned for, that specific book. They would then license the book or sell the book on to other publishers in other countries. It also gave them the right to use the images in international versions of the book for a 10-year period. So it was very wide, and it allowed them to do everything that they needed to do. When I was about 3/4 of the way through the project, I'd done about 3/4 of the work when I finally got the contract. Not what I was expecting or what I believed we'd verbally agreed at the beginning of the project. The contract was asking for me to assign the copyright, which would mean that they would completely own the images. I would never be able to use them or relicense them or make some money from them in the future. It also meant that they can change the images, use them in any project they wish. They can sell them on to other companies. I just would have no control and no ownership of it. And I think one of the main things is they didn't need to have the copyright, and also they were a very small company and their fees were very low. So if you are ever assigning copyright, you need to be well paid for it. It should be a great deal more than you would be paid for work where you've agreed a license for specific uses and specific times. So I said I was stopping work until we'd sorted out the contract, and we couldn't agree. And so in the end, I went to the small claims court. I was very, very fortunate because at the time I was working part-time as a nanny, and one of the uncles was a barrister in London, and he arranged for a trainee barrister to represent me at court, which is very unusual with small claims as you're normally representing yourself. That really helped me, but I still had so much work to do myself. So the judge decided that I was in the right, and he sent us all away to figure out what payment I was going to receive. So he didn't make that decision. We had to go away for a few days and come back to the court and tell him what we decided. And so there were lots of emails backwards and forwards, and I was basing what I was asking for on the Association of Illustrators guidelines. If a job is cancelled partway through, there's something called a kill fee where you get a percentage of the final artwork. I think I got 100% for each piece that was totally finished, and then I got about 50% of the money due to me on pieces that were part way through, and then 25% on ones that I'd done rough sketches for. And in the end, I think it came to about £1,500, which isn't that much for the amount of effort and time that went into making the claim. But I did it almost more on principle than, yes, I wanted to be paid, but also it was very much about the principle of standing up for myself in this case. It took weeks, and it was incredibly stressful but very satisfying as I won in the end. But it was a huge amount of work, and maybe I wouldn't have gone into it initially if I'd realised how much time and energy it would take. But I feel like it was completely worth it, and I'm really glad that I did stand up on that occasion. So it meant the book never happened. I didn't work with that publisher again, which was fine with me. And what did happen was that I had several pieces that were finished artwork that I was then able to license myself or via my American agent, and things then got used on greetings cards or via a image library. And over the years, I have made money from those pieces. So on top of the money that I got at the small claims court for the work that I'd done, I've also made money from those pieces after that occasion.